Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek Online. So, in this part we're going to be doing Butterfly. So we're nearing the end of the Iconian War arc. I want to say it was always roughly this many episodes. I don't actually recall off the top of my head.
The research teams in the Kiana system require your assistance. They have been running thousands of temporal incursion simulations of how to use the Cryptic weapon. But I need an officer with field experience to evaluate the project and its feasibility. You will participate in a focus test of the most promising options. A blade cuts both ways. We must be sure that what this weapon can do to the Iconians does not cause greater harm to us.
Okay. And it just gives you a Tetrion omnidirectional beam array. I want to say, I think one of the only ones in the game besides one of the tier 6 reputations. Just make sure that you have saved my loadout, because yep, sometimes your loadout is a little screwy. Very annoying issue, to be honest.
Welcome! We have been working with the Krenim to build both this facility and a weapon similar to the one developed by Anorax in the 22nd century. Captain Nog is running point for the Alliance, but teams from all across the Alpha and Beta quadrants are involved with the research. It's fascinating work, but there's a lot to do yet.
How can I help?
Captain Nog might be able to explain more. He's waiting for you.
I'll be honest, I don't recall ever having met this character in the past, although presumably we have, considering there is the mention of good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. For a few weeks, I was helping the Alliance research new ways to deactivate Iconian gateways. We were making progress, but it wasn't fast enough to stop the advance of the Heralds. After Captain Nog made contact with the Krenim, I asked to transfer here. Now I'm working with interdimensional resonance harmonics to help recreate Anorax's work.
And again, I do not recall ever having met this character in the past. Every time I played this mission, I can never recall ever having met this character in any previous mission, whether you're playing as Federation or Romulan. Having better sleep?
Yes, I have. I guess the Solanae aren't visiting me at night anymore. Or maybe it's the 14-hour days trying to wrap my brain around complex temporal equations that are wearing me out. Either way, my sleep is greatly improved. Thank you for asking.
And this leads me to believe this is one of those characters that's there when you go and open the gateway on New Romulus, but I honestly cannot recall them having been there.
Welcome. We have been working with the
Okay.
Captain Nog might...
And lead the way. Somewhat annoyingly, in Star Trek Online, some conversations just sort of loop. And so when you decide to say, okay, yep, let's go ahead and do the actual thing, rather than this just side topic that I asked, you end up needing to listen to some of the same dialogue again. I honestly don't know how they thought that was the best way to do that.
I wish I was seeing you under better circumstances. We've managed to make a prototype of the Krenim weapon in Anorax's records, but we have not attempted to use it yet. Time isn't something you mess around with, so we have been conducting simulations here of possible incursions, as well as developing new ways to protect and store data on various timelines.
Can you explain the process to me? How is this any different from going back in time, changing something, and creating an alternate timeline?
When we talk about time alteration, we're specifically referring to the Krenim weapon's ability to remove something from time. Anything, from a single molecule to an entire civilization. It's as if the target of the weapon never existed at all.
So it doesn't just move something, it deletes it.
Correct. The changes ripple out from the incursion point and result in a new reality where the target no longer exists. This does mean that the ship must be able to fire on a target. The details are a bit more complex, of course, but that's the main difference from conventional time travel.
And no one has a problem with this.
Temporal agents from all three factions are watching everything we do carefully. That's one of the reasons we're running holodeck simulations first. Between you and me, I'm glad they're here. The Krenim are a little too eager to use the weapon. Time manipulation is a very delicate operation under the best of circumstances. We can't just start shooting things out of existence and hoping it all works out for the best.
I agree, Captain.
I wish I was seeing you under better circumstances. We've managed to make a prototype of the... That was the first simulation we tried. The results were fairly catastrophic.
Catastrophic?
Without the Iconians, the first development of warp technology by other cultures in the Alpha Quadrant is severely delayed, by about 50,000 years. Removing the Iconians would change everything we know.
We would eventually develop warp travel, right? It seems inevitable.
Let me put it this way. In one version, the Day Ones eventually rise to power and conquer most of the Beta Quadrant. They are forced back by the Vulcans, who never embrace logic, and later enslave much of what is now Federation and Klingon space.
I can see how this would be a problem.
I'm not done yet. The Herc never developed warp technology at all, so they never invade Kronos and unite the Klingons as a warrior culture. When the Vulcan Star Empire finds the Klingons in the 22nd century, they were mostly farmers who had made some advances in epic poetry. By the present day in this simulation, the Vulcan Star Empire is locked in a to-the-death struggle with the Dominion.
I get it. Removing the Iconians directly is a bad idea.
I wish I was seeing you under better circumstances.
Okay, so that's for just removing the Iconians from the time stream. Next is Sela said something about Iconians in time travel. Is that important?
Oh, that the Iconians can't time travel because it unravels their minds. She was being dramatic, but she was essentially correct. When most humanoids time travel, they retain the memories of their timeline of origin. So you realize when things have changed. Iconians are at least partially energy beings. We saw that when Matara was able to use her own power to open gateways. And their brain structure is very different from other humanoids. As far as we understand, if an Iconian traveled back in time, their mind and memories would reshape to fit that time. So they would retain no memories of the present. They don't use time travel because it would literally be taking a step backwards.
I understand now, thank you.
I wish I was seeing you under better
And protected, we know.
We've managed to make a... Once we make an incursion, anything not protected by a temporal shield will conform to the new timeline. That includes all of us once this mission is over. We won't remember the Iconians, the war, or anything that changes in the new timeline. Clouda has been leading the work to create a shielded computer core to hold all the data we currently have. A time capsule, I guess you'd call it.
The core need... I assume this is supposed to be... Does the core need to be shielded forever?
Correct. This isn't the sort of sacrifice we'd expect any personnel involved in the incursion to make. So we've built a computer to retain the information for us. We'll know what happened before, even though it essentially will have happened to someone else.
Understood.
I wish I was seeing you under better circumstances.
Do you have any ideas on when to make the temporal incursion?
We've tried a different number of scenarios, but only in the holodeck. Direct action against the Iconians is proving to be problematic, because so much time has passed since they were first a great power. Incursions that far back in time must be carefully planned, or the fallout of even minor changes can ripple across reality. We have, however, seen some promise in trying to delay their arrival.
But that's just delaying the inevitable for a few years.
Actually, it would be closer to a 700-year delay if our calculations are correct. The Iconians have had 200,000 years to build their fleets, but we're catching up to them. We've already seen what the 29th century technology can do. Imagine what we'll have in the 32nd century.
Now, I don't know what you mean by we've already seen what the 29th century technology can do. Maybe there is another mission that was previously there. But no, we haven't run into anybody from the 29th century. At least as far as I can recall. So we'd be on more equal footing.
Exactly. The other potential solution is to cut into the current power base. What if the Iconians never allied with the Alachi or the Solanet? We wouldn't be facing the trouble we do now.
What are your best scenarios?
The three most promising incursions each follow one of these tactics. My teams have been running simulations and refining their targets, but I'd like you to assist them using a special quantum recursive algorithm. Our simulators can run the outcome of a possible incursion on the holodeck. Interacting with that simulation will give us more data than just crunching the numbers. We need to really interact with it to see what reality would look like, and for that, I need someone like you with field experience.
Sounds like a fascinating experience. Okay, let's go ahead and investigate Alteration Alpha.
Hello. Please allow me to explain what we're doing here. We've determined that if we remove a specific series of stars from the Beta Quadrant in the distant past, a rogue planet will enter the Iconia system and cause massive geological damage at about the same time the planet was bombarded by the Iconians' enemies. The technological buildup of the orbital bombardment that destroyed the Iconian civilization will still happen, but the Iconians themselves will have to deal with a natural disaster, not a war.
And you think this is better than a war?
Maybe the survivors of a natural disaster, if there are any, won't be so vengeful. And none of the stars we will remove have planets with the possibility of developing life. The overall effect on the galaxy is minimal. It's a painful path, but it could be the one that leads to peace.
If this works, it still won't avenge the fallen.
The number of stars we will have to remove is a concern, which is why we're trying this in a simulation first. But as Captain Nog said, these simulations aren't perfect, so we have devised a holodeck program that will expand and extrapolate on possible effects of the temporal incursion.
You're giving a lot of weight to the holodeck.
It's the best option we have available to us. The holodeck's algorithms have been updated to change and adapt to the data created by the simulated timeline alteration. This is not your average holo novel.
Very well. What do you need me to do?
Once we run the program, you'll be able to interact with our best approximation of the new timeline. Interaction with the holodeck components will allow the program to generate a more in-depth solution and give us a better idea of what to expect. We have set this simulation on a Federation starship patrolling the Sol system, and you are the captain. If all goes as planned, we expect that almost everything in the system should be close to current reality.
Understood. I'll run the program. Well, this doesn't seem quite right.
Captain, you're alive! We repelled the intruders on the bridge, but the ship has taken heavy damage, and a lot of the crew are injured.
What's the situation?
Sir, I'm not sure this is the time. So many people are hurt, and most of the systems are offline. The life support is on backups, and our resources are down to nothing, and
I'll help the wounded, but you need to help me. What happened?
the Dominion stopped firing at us when we lost weapons. Now they're focusing on Earth's defense grid, but it's only a matter of time before they return to finish us off.
We'll stabilize the crew and fight back. This isn't over.
I tried to fight them off. Boarding parties. The Jem'Hadar are. We have to stop the Dominion. They can't take Earth too.
Don't worry, we'll stop them.
Never expected they would get so far into our defenses. I'm sorry, Captain. I just need a moment. Then I'll be ready to fight.
Whenever you're ready.
We can't stop them. Maybe if we hadn't been at war with the Romulans. Maybe if the Klingons hadn't ripped themselves apart. I'll be fine, Captain. Just rattle.
Go to sickbay if you need to.
Incoming hail!
Oh, okay, I'll actually go up here to answer it.
USS Ajax. Sensors show your ship is completely defenseless, and I would prefer not to delay our arrival at Earth to deal with such a minor annoyance. Surrender now, and I will guarantee the safety of your crew.
We will never surrender. Run back here. Access the computers. And find out what we can. So, hull breaches on decks 4, 5, and 6. Emergency force field engaged. Hull integrity 22.8%. Weapons and shields offline. Life support on emergency backup. Let's get the quadrant casualty report. Betazoid taken, estimated casualties 3 billion. Tellar Prime taken, estimated casualties 2.5 billion. Vulcan status uninhabitable, estimated casualties 9.4 billion. Personal log. See Captain's personal log, stardate 87319.0. We haven't seen the bulk of the enemy fleet in 3 days, but their scouts continue to harass us. Vulcan is lost, Andoria is in flames, Romulus, Tellar Prime, Beta Z, Trill, ashes. If the Romulans had joined us, maybe this would have been different. The Klingons barely had enough ships left to patrol their home system. They weren't a threat anymore. We were offering friendship, but the Romulans refused us, and then the Dominion came and took everything. Scan for Iconian activity. Long-range sensors are offline. There's no Iconian activity in the immediate area. Okay, well, that's the immediate area. Let's go ahead and download all the data. And end program. Basically, in that timeline, the Federation gets their ass beat by the Dominion. And more than usual. Let's go and real quick talk to Philip Cray here.
Hello.
Who are you?
Well, where do I start? I'm 157 years old. That's only because I spent 90 years caught in a temporal distortion in the Typhon Expanse, serving as an ensign under Captain Morgan Bateson, the USS Bozeman. Much of the crew of the Bozeman found it difficult to integrate back into Starfleet. So much had changed. The Temporal Intelligence Agency took in many of my shipmates, due to our first-hand knowledge of events that occurred in the past. So, that's where I ended up.
Must be difficult to have missed out on so much.
Hello.
Are you here to protect the timeline?
Anything involving temporal mechanics is complicated, but the short answer is yes. I am watching these simulations very closely, as are my counterparts from the Republic and the Klingon Empire. Even small changes to time can have large and lasting effects. On Earth, we've called this the butterfly effect. The metaphorical example is of a butterfly flapping its wings and starting a chain of events that lead to a hurricane on the other side of the planet.
But is it timeline alteration the sort of thing you're supposed to stop?
Again, it is complicated. Suffice it to say that at this moment in time, our governments have all agreed that our options are limited. This might be our best chance to stop or delay the Iconians. But temporal investigations will intervene if we feel that the cure is more dangerous than the disease.
I understand.
Hello.
Isn't this all a violation of Starfleet's Temporal Prime Directive?
Under ordinary circumstances, perhaps. It's only because the Iconian situation is so desperate that we're allowing this research to continue. You've been on the front lines of the war. I'm sure you realize how few options we have left.
It's bad out there, but is this really our only option?
Hello.
Okay, goodbye, and let's go ahead and actually go back and talk to the Alpha Team leader.
Sorry, we were watching from the control room, and that could have gone better. Even with all that, the simulation data on whether the Iconians were entirely eliminated from that timeline is inconclusive. We were able to record your interactions, and we've been able to piece together what happened from those.
What did you find?
From what we can piece together, the Klingon Empire was never unified by its conflicts against outsiders, and the great houses turned on one another instead. The Romulans took the chaos as an opportunity to attack. The Federation stepped in to help the Klingons, and the war between the three factions basically ripped the quadrant apart. The Dominion then conquered all three weakened powers.
That's not our solution.
Agreed. My team will continue working on other possible incursion scenarios.
Perhaps we can weaken their power base. Let's go and talk to Beta Team.
Another one of you Voyagers? I don't know how you can help, but very well. My team is working on scenarios that reduce the Iconian power base. We're attempting to do so by fixing a mistake that Janeway allowed to happen decades ago. We're going to stop the Vatwa from being rediscovered. We plan to do this by preventing Voyager from ever coming into contact with underspace. This will prevent them from finding Vatwa Prime, and 7 of 9 will never wake the Vatwa.
I don't know what you mean by Voyager. I never served on that ship.
No, but you're all the same. You come to our quadrant, meddle in affairs that don't concern you and that you don't understand, and leave chaos in your wake. Now you want us to help you alter time. Tell me, does that sound like something someone like you should be doing?
I'm not sure that power should be in your hands either.
None of us are going to survive if we don't try to repair the damage you've already done. The goal is to cause a solar flare that will force Voyager to divert from the course it was on when it stumbled into underspace. If it safely passes without entering underspace, it can continue on its trip home and bypass the Vatwa entirely.
I suppose that might work.
The simulation is set for the USS Voyager, which is fitting since they caused the problem in the first place. Our projections show that even if the Vatwa never return, your people will still find a reason to stick your noses into our business. So we're attempting to see how the elimination of the Vatwa will change the formation of the Delta Alliance. You will be a member of the diplomatic team.
I'll run the program. Oh, whoops, okay, never mind. Gotta go talk to somebody else first.
Don't mind Noy. I think he partially blames people from your quadrant for some of the Krennin's troubles. After all, if Voyager hadn't restored the Vatwa, they would have never been in a position to ally with the Iconians. But there is no reason to dwell on past hurts. We're trying to fix what we can here, and then learn to accept the rest. Noy funnels that passion to help his people into his world. Perhaps it will change everything.
I'm sure we can find common ground.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Both Captain Nog and Seven speak highly of you.
Excuse me, but I'm not sure I've ever met anyone from your species before.
My name is Claudia, and I am a Tutarian. We're from a region of the Delta Quadrant Voyager never visited, so we haven't had much contact with species from the Alpha and Beta Quadrants until now. However, my world has had close ties with the Krenim for several years. Now that they are actively pursuing temporal technology, I chose to join them and lend whatever assistance I can. I miss my home, but I've made a new one here. Meeting Noy has opened me up to a world beyond my own.
I see.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
Well, what do you do here?
Captain Nog and I was on Kiana Prime with Noy when we received word of the Vatwa attacks. We had only hours to get the temporal equipment running and remove the population from the time stream. Since then, the focus of my work has been developing more stable data storage. We can see into other timelines, but we need a way to secure the data through temporal shifts, so we can preserve information about incursions and their effects. In the case of a catastrophic shift, that data could be used as a map to restore the timeline.
Interesting.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Both Captain Nog and...
Noy doesn't seem to like us much.
Don't mind Noy.
Okay,
I think
that's the
he
same thing.
blames. It is a pleasure.
Goodbye, and let's now go ahead and actually run the simulation. Okay, let's go and talk to Ambassador Sugihara.
This is an absolute disaster. I had thought that Admiral Tuvok was being pessimistic about the chance for success here. But now, I think he was right.
Alliance making isn't a quick process.
No, it's not. The hierarchy started setting these people against one another before Admiral Tuvok and his team could start to pull them together. The very fact that they all agreed to be in the same room is a minor miracle.
Do you think you can bring them together?
Eventually. Between Vulcan logic, Klingon tenacity, and Romulan pragmatism, we'll convince everyone here that the threat is real, and an alliance is in their best interest. But it won't be easy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I see I have another argument to break up.
Good luck, Ambassador.
We've always tried to be good neighbors and treat other races with respect, but this is really too much. The Malon are using our system as a dump, and their trash isn't our problem.
Okay, so this is the only one that's green. Presumably this will move you on to the next section. So, you have a right to be concerned, but please calm down.
I should be shouting. I'm upset. The Malon are trying to force us off our beautiful new planet so they can turn it into something toxic. How would you like it if someone treated your ship like a garbage scow?
Maybe you're right. I'd be angry too.
We've always tried to be good neighbors.
What do you
and
think
treat
about the
other races
hierarchy
with
becoming more
respect.
aggressive?
The Malon claim the hierarchy are harassing them, but they're targeting our ships too. So I don't know what to believe. But there are rumors, traitor talk, you know how it is. But I've heard it a lot lately. They say the hierarchy are capturing people and selling them to another race for experiments or as food.
Do you think that's true?
We've always tried to be good neighbors.
The
and
Malon
treat
aren't
other
the
races
biggest
with
danger to your
respect.
people.
But the Malon might not be the biggest threat, but they are the most immediate. Wait until they start dumping their trash in your front yard and see how you like it.
Keep talking to the Malon. Perhaps you'd find a compromise.
Are you here to preach about responsible waste management too? You can save it. I have a commitment to my people and my planet that supersedes any other concerns.
What do you think of the hierarchy?
I don't want to talk about the hierarchy. They're nothing but trouble. That's part of the reason we're looking for new dumping grounds. I've lost too many ships in the past year. Half a generation of valuable and desperately needed haulers. They're just gone. And I know the hierarchy is to blame.
I see.
Are you here to
The
preach about
Talaxians are
responsible
concerned about waste on their
management
borders.
too? How dare you dictate how we should behave? The disposal of hazardous waste is a noble sacrifice my people make on behalf of their families. Who are you to cheapen their sacrifice? What we do is none of your business.
There are other solutions, but I see you're not interested.
Are you here to preach
Maybe there
about
is someplace else you can dump your waste without harming others?
We don't need outsiders telling us what to do. If the Talaxians want to talk, they can come to us directly.
Let me see if there's another way to get you interested in joining this conversation.
The Malon have resisted attempts to accept less hazardous waste management practices and continue dumping waste throughout the quadrant. The most at-risk populations are the Talaxians, who have a new colony close to Malon dumping grounds. The Malon have moved into Talaxian space to avoid hierarchy attacks. Diplomatic relations between the Malon and Talaxians are rapidly deteriorating. The Malon have accused the Talaxians of working with the hierarchy, a charge the Talaxians strenuously deny.
Analysis?
The Benthans could possibly pressure the Malon to return to the negotiation table.
Okay, exit. Let's talk to the Benthans.
Yes, what is your question? I am rather busy. The Hazari are stepping up their smuggling operations. and the hierarchy's new drive for profits has created a significant increase in attacks on unaligned transports.
Would the Benthans be willing to assist the Talaxians in their negotiations with the Melon?
We have enough to do at the moment without getting into a dispute that doesn't concern us. The hierarchy is harassing our supply lines, and I'm convinced they're behind the losses we've taken over the past 3 months. We're having to double up patrols, which means we're leaving holes the Hazari can slip through. The Melon are a headache we don't need.
I've found that working with allies usually brings about positive results.
Yes, what is your question? I am
What do you think of the
The
hierarchy's
Hazari
current
are stepping up
actions?
the hierarchy's surveillance measures are the best in the quadrant. That's left us more exposed than I would like. We're losing ships. Once or twice we found debris with hierarchy weapon signatures. They're cautious. It's like they can smell traps.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry to trouble you.
question?
I'll talk to the
I am rather
Hazari.
busy. Good luck with that. The Hazari aren't interested in anything but making deals. This whole meeting is just a waste of time. Unity might work where you come from, but I don't have any reason to cooperate with criminals like the Hazari or thugs like the hierarchy.
Maybe I can convince them differently.
What do you want? Did the Benthans make you one of their little deputies? Or was it the Melon? Before everyone broke ties with the hierarchy, they told us what people say about us. Mercenaries. Honorless. Ha! They all deny it, but we know. Now we look out for ourselves.
Would you be willing to pull out of Benthan space?
No. We need to make a living, same as the rest of you. If the Benthans would take out the hierarchy on our borders, we wouldn't be forced to move into Benthan space. But no, they won't do that. They don't think mercenaries great protection.
Sounds like you should be working with the Benthans, not against them.
What do you want? Did the Benthans make you one of
What do
their
you think of the hierarchy?
deputy troublemakers? They make our jobs harder and easier. They watch everyone. We used to trade for information from them, but now they won't sell. If we can capture one of their ships, it's like a treasure hoard of information. Makes hunting bounties real easy. But it's harder to take out their ships. I hear they're getting upgrades. And it's not just their ships. Stories going around about one captain whose arm was ripped off by a hierarchy commander. Used to be they'd run from fights. Now they start them.
That doesn't sound like the hierarchy I know.
What do you want?
If that's how you think, I guess we're done.
Fine. Run back to the Benthans. I'll be here if you want to talk business.
Sorry, but I'm not in the market for mercenaries. Okay, let's talk to Sugihara.
Unraveling this mess could take months, years.
You're the right man for this job, Ambassador. Quadrant threat report.
The number of planets the hierarchy have taken outright has increased 20% over the past 6 months. A push for higher profits has prompted steady growth of hierarchy territory. Reports of abductions in areas near hierarchy space have increased by 77.2%. However, this data has not been confirmed by outside sources because few Delta Quadrant species are willing to share information with the Federation. Further investigation is needed.
Ship's log.
Ambassador's log, stardate 87234.5. Our allies in the Kiana system have been invaded by hierarchy forces. The Kiana colony is a small farming community with no strategic value, so the attack simply doesn't make sense. According to one survivor we managed to find, the hierarchy were working with the Ilachi. The Ilachi took captives to an unknown location.
Okay, scan for Iconian activity. Long-range sensors are detecting both Herald and Iconian readings. While they do not appear to be in active conflict with Alliance forces, You're seeing more ships than normal. There are both Herald and Iconian signals in hierarchy space. It appears the Herald may be using that area as a staging ground for a coordinated attack with the hierarchy on high-value targets throughout the Delta Quadrant. Cross-checking with Voyager's logs show a similar situation in the Alpha and Beta quadrants. Let's download data and end program. And let's go ahead and talk to Noi.
Damn, that was useless. The Iconians were so determined to have a hold here that they simply found another species to fit the bill. Maybe if you had been a better negotiator, you would have been able to unite those representatives against the hierarchy. Then at least we would have had a chance.
And maybe we wouldn't.
This scenario isn't as catastrophic as trying to remove the Iconians, but it's not exactly ideal either. We'll have to try something else.
Yes, this isn't going to work.
You must excuse my husband's harsh demeanor. This has been a very trying time for the Krenim. Thank you for helping us get this far. We'll keep working.
Thank you, Claudia.
Trust my wife to be the voice of reason. Perhaps I was too hard on you. I just want to be able to fix all of this. We can't turn back time, but we can change it. Please, speak to Gamma Team. Captain Nog thinks very highly of their plan.
Thank you. I'll speak to Gamma Team.
Hello. We've been waiting for you. Our team is focusing on delaying tactics. What if Iconia had never been discovered? In 2365, Captain Donald Varley of the USS Yamato found a star chart on Denias 3 that revealed the location of Iconia. I want to redirect a meteor to impact the archaeological site on Denias 3 before Captain Varley begins his excavations. Iconia will remain a myth, and we will not attract the Iconians' attention as early as we did.
But that's just a delay. Another gateway was found a few years later.
True, but if you compare the changes in Iconian technology over the past 200,000 years with what the rest of us have done in the past 2 centuries, it's obvious that the Iconian culture has stagnated while we have advanced rapidly. Additionally, there are other factors in play that could trigger the alliances and sharing of technology that have come about because of the Iconian threat. It's a risk, but it's one that could pay off.
I see why you're trying this on a holodeck first.
The program is set for Romulan space. Because the Hobus supernova was caused by direct Iconian interference, we expect Romulus to be intact in this new reality. As such, the Romulan Star Empire should once again be a major power in the quadrant. Your role will be as an officer on a Romulan warbird.
Restore the Romulan Star Empire?
Yes, to call it a huge change would be an understatement. Please be aware that nothing will be done unless the Republic agrees this is the best possible solution. There is already a team here working on the possible restoration of Romulus, and Commander Jirak has been authorized to speak for the Republic if needed. The fact that our data shows delaying the Iconian arrival will also save Romulus is an interesting coincidence, but it does not mean we will accept the solution without looking at other options.
I see.
The program
Understood. I'll run the program. Okay, don't know where Commander Tamir is, but I'm assuming I'm going in the wrong direction. Nope, that doesn't open, and this one doesn't open either, does it? No, okay, so Commander Tamir is somewhere. I, just need to find them.
Sub-Commander, I'd like to test out some new security passcodes. If you would be so kind as to seal the doors and disable certain, equipment, we'd
Understood, Commander. Okay, and disable Talshira listening device. You know, tell Shiar, if people know how to find your devices and disable them, you're not doing a particularly great job.
Thank you for playing along, Sub-Commander. The Tal Shiar can't hear us. I need to talk to you about Titan and the Separatists. They've been located near the Dewa system. What we do next could change our future.
The only thing I know about the Separatists is what I've heard through official channels. What do you know?
Titan has been inspired by Spock's teaching. He and many others have left the homeworld and are gathered together in a flotilla somewhere near Tau Dewa. Titan and his allies have been making overtures of peace to both the Federation and the Klingons. Because of this, they have enough support that even the Tal Shiar won't take direct action against them. The Borg are at our borders. The Empire can't fight the Collective and the Separatists at the same time.
So what does that mean for us?
Thank you for playing along, Sub-Commander. The Tal Shiar can't hear us. I need to talk to you about the Titan and the Separatists.
Okay, you're not asking if we should attack them, are you?
If I was, I wouldn't have needed you to lock the door. I intend to put Lieutenant Silan in the brig and then take this ship and crew to join the Separatists. Are you with me?
If we do this, we will be traitors to the Empire.
I know. I have tried to work within the system, but the system is broken and corrupt. Titan and his people are building something better. You and I both know it. The crew knows it. We will take this warbird to Titan, and we will finally be free.
We have to do what is best for our people. Okay, I heard the sound of somebody beaming in. Oh, wait. That's you over here, isn't it? Yeah.
Secret conversations between the commander and one of his senior officers. Very suspicious. Loyal citizens of the Romulan Star Empire have no need for locked doors.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to accompany the security team to the brig.
Tamer, you are a fool, and you will be the death of everyone on this ship. Titan and his people are terrorists. If you join them, you will share their fate.
You are under arrest. Please comply and you will not be harmed.
My friends, it is time we forge our own destiny.
A destiny free from the tyranny of the Tal Shiar.
If we leave, we will have a better, brighter future
than what they would allow us.
I know this is a step into the unknown, but it is a step we will take together. Throw off your chains. We will join our brothers and sisters in freedom.
Okay, let's speak with the con officer.
I wanted to let you know that I am with you and Commander Tamer. Some of my family has left Romulus to join Titan. I'll be proud to join them.
Set a course for the Dewa system. In the meantime, I'm just going to go and look at the computer logs. Notice to all hands, the seminar traitors in our midst. The historical executions of traitors to the Star Empire has been moved to 2100 hours. Attendance is mandatory for all officers not on duty at the time. Question status report. Notice to all ship commanders, Starfleet vessels have been assisting New Romulans. In areas near the neutral zone, Imperial ships are being dispatched in a show of force. Any ships harboring or assisting the Separatists are to be fired upon. There are no exceptions. Ships in Group Gamma are being reassigned to patrols in the area targeted by the Borg. Contacts are regular, but vigilance is needed. to eradicate the threat and protect our colony worlds. Okay, personal log. Commander's personal log, triple encryption protocol Zeta 6. Gaius is becoming suspicious. I've been speaking to members of the senior staff, and most are in favor of making a run for the flotilla and joining Titan, but I remain cautious. They are doing the right thing, but the Borg are nibbling at our heels. Every ship the fleet loses might be one needed to protect Romulus in its hour of need, but what is left there to protect? Scan for Iconian activity. Long-range sensors show no Herald or Iconian signatures, and there are no references to Heralds in the ship's database. The only references to the Iconians are in the historical files, and most refer to the Iconians as a myth. There are heightened levels of Borg activity throughout the Beta Quadrant, and multiple colony worlds have been assimilated. The Romulan fleets are on high alert, but have not been able to make major inroads against the collective. Okay, download data. And end program. And let's go ahead and talk to Gamma Team Leader.
That is the most promising simulation yet. It appears there was some merit to our hypothesis that the Iconians advanced their plans due to early contact.
But it's not perfect by any means.
The readings do indicate higher levels of Borg activity, but it should be an acceptable risk.
This is a major alteration to the timeline. We should be cautious.
The data in this simulation does show higher Borg activity than we're currently seeing, but there are no signs of Herald, Iconian, or Solanae presence at all. And while the Romulan Star Empire is restored to their former power, there is a democratic Romulan group opposing the Tal Shiar. And more importantly, Romulus is intact. This is the result many of our Romulan researchers have been trying to bring about.
But this isn't our reality. We will be significantly altering everything we know.
The political calculus of the Quadrant will change, but the data supports what you saw on the holodeck. No Iconians. We have solid projections. The only suggestion I have now is that you consider it in conjunction with Captain Nog and the Republic representatives here.
I'll discuss it with them, but I'm not making any promises. Yeah, this is a fairly long mission, actually.
This last test has the most promising results I've seen, and saving the Romulan homeworld is an added bonus. We're not going to have a lot of shots at this. I've been looking at Anorex's work, and I think it's too easy to get into a temporal loop where you try again and again for a specific result, and time starts fighting back. I'm inclined to say this is our best chance. But this will have a huge impact on the reality we know, especially your people, Commander Jirok. I won't give my authorization without hearing from everyone.
We can't move forward without considering the effect of the Republic. Commander Jirok?
This is difficult. It would change everything for us. We'd have our home back, but the Republic, everything we've built, it would all be gone. But there's still hope. Even in this other reality, Titan has led many Romulans away from Sela and her Tal Shiar thugs.
This impacts the Republic most of all.
The simulation specifically mentioned Titan and a separatist movement. Commander Tamer makes the choice to join Titan, the same choice he made after the homeworld was lost. With Romulus, we could have numbers. More people who have had enough of the Tal Shiar's oppression could join us. Maybe millions more. If Titan is able to get a movement going, even at the height of the Empire's power, I have to believe that change is possible.
What do you think we should do?
Make the incursion. The lives we save will be worth the work we'll have to do to reform the Republic. The Tal Shiar wasn't able to stop us the first time. They won't stop us again.
If the Romulan Republic thinks it's worth the risk, then we should try it. Sir, we have been informed by the Lisette and the Crenum vessel will be traveling with us to the site of the temporal incursion. The Crenum vessel has the weapon on board, and the Lisette will provide additional security and manpower if needed. Understood. Anything else? All three vessels will be temporally shielded to protect us from changes in the timeline. As long as the shielding holds, we will be able to observe the changes and even interact with them, but we will not be part of the new timeline. Captain Nog says the temporal shield generators can be damaged. We'll need to be careful. We can beam you up to the Odin as soon as you're ready. Prepare for immediate departure. Damn, this is gonna be a long loading screen.
Target acquired and locked. Activating weapon. Incursion complete.
It will be good to see the world of my birth again. Elements? Is that Romulus? It's been completely assimilated.
Rocco.
Yes, I think we have a problem.
Really?
We expected to see some Borg activity, but this can't be right.
What happened?
I agree that this is unexpected, Commander, but we knew there would be anomalies. We need more information. Let's find out where the simulation might have gone wrong.
Stay on the edge of the system. Shark and I will move in for sensor sweeps. The last thing we need is the Borg assimilating the Krenom's weapon.
The whole system can't be assimilated, can it? That is a lot of Borg.
The entire system could easily be assimilated. Let's go ahead and just full impulse in. There we go. Now I can scan.
According to these scans, the planet has been completely assimilated. I'm not detecting any non-Borg life signs. This is bad. Really, really bad. We need to fix this.
Agreed.
Borg ships decloaking. Red alert.
Great. The Borg have cloaks now. Shields up.
First the Klingons, now the Borg. Does everyone steal cloaking technology from us?
Oh shit. Q. Let's back up. We're focusing the cube, it's the bigger threat generally. Healer hull. It's getting a little low.
We need more information before we can fix this. I'll keep the Krenom ship well out of Borg sensor range while you go in and find out what happened. Hurry. More Borg will be arriving soon.
Won't we be affected by the timeline shift once we leave the ship?
I've modified some personal shield generators to shield you temporally as well. I'm transporting them over now. Hurry. The temporal shielding drains a lot of power. You won't have much time down there before you're unprotected. If that happens, this will be your new reality.
Understood. We'll get the data. We have the temporal shields for the away team, sir, and Claudia says she is concerned about the weapon. We probably only have one more shot before the capacitors burn out, so we need to get this right now and get back to a timeline that's not overrun by the Borg. Sensors are detecting a mainframe that should have the data we need, or the data you need. The Lassette will remain to protect the Krenom ship, while you and Commander Zrock beam down to gather information. Ready for transport. And another long loading screen.
With any luck, the Borg will have what we need. Maybe. Our focus is on restoration. There is a computer node in this area of the Unimatrix that should have what we need. Find the node and download all the data you can from the point where we made our incursion. That should help us find out how to fix this.
We'll find the data.
I'm going to join you. I know this place. Or at least I knew this place. Before we lost the homeworld, it was a Talshar complex. Most of the secrets of our empire were stored here. I thought I was getting my home back, but now the Borg have taken it all away. This is like losing Romulus all over again.
I'll do what I can to help, Commander.
The controls ahead of us will unlock the bulkheads.
Uh-huh. Oh, do I already have one? Clearly I must be blind because I ain't seeing it. Did I give it to somebody? Don't think I did. No. Game, I think you're confused. Okay, it's not like trapped in that. Okay, I was gonna go ahead and just give myself the holographic Tommy gun. Because, you know, that would make this a whole hell of a lot easier. But according to the game, I already have one. But I know I don't, because it's not equipped on any of my characters, and I'm fairly certain it's not sitting in my bank, because that would be a little weird. Because there'd be no reason for me to put it in my bank. But yeah, so because I apparently already have one, this is now going to make this mission a bit more of a pain in the ass. I'm just going to be honest with you all about that. Because we're going to have to deal with the Borg. Being able to adapt.
The whole planet. All our people. They're Borg.
Yeah, they've adapted. Remodulate my frequency. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't see it in here, so the game's lying to me when it says you already got one. Let's just go ahead and screw it, remodulate now.
I can't believe we were so wrong.
Okay, let's try and kill you. Okay, yeah, no, killing you is gonna take forever.
Cover me! I'll override the door controls.
You do that. I'll try and cover you. It's gonna be a bit of a pain. And adapted. Okay, remodulate. And yes, I know I didn't bother giving my away team any frequency remodulators.
We have to find a way to make this right.
There we go. Had to move a little closer to wake them up. Oh jeez, that was fast. Oh, damn. Was that Jirok? I don't think so.
Resistance is futile.
There. That's the access node console we need.
Okay, let's go ahead and access it.
Locked. We'll We'll have to circumvent their security measures. Wait! Incoming Borg!
Oh, goddamn tactical drone. Let's step back while I remodulate. Don't mind me, I'm just remodulating. Okay, circumvent board security.
When we lost the homeworld, I thought that was the worst thing that could happen to us.
I feel like the Borg taking over your homeworld is probably worse than losing it in a supernova.
You will be assimilated.
And last console, and yes, technically we went to each console in the opposite order.
This was Romulan technology once, but it's been completely assimilated. Akiv?
You will become one with the Borg. Resistance is futile.
Of course, game. Look at my character just shooting willy-nilly in the middle of a cutscene. Okay, remodulate. Oh, didn't realize we still had a drone here. I thought we dealt with them all already. Okay, well, Finn is down, but Finn is somewhere over there. I'm just gonna... Can I seriously not jump down there? Seriously? That should be everyone. And now we can download the data. Open temporal records. Access to temporal records. Drone 2 of 18 reporting to Alcove 12 Gamma for daily regeneration cycle. Drone 8 of 10 reporting to Section 3 for manifold maintenance. Drone 3 of 27 is at 35% completion regeneration cycle. Break down records by year. Provide a summary of events for Romulus system only. Display results with oldest entries first. So, stardate 68589.04. Romulus system added to the collective. Stardate 68590 to 69000. Unimatrix established in orbit of Romulus. Designated Unimatrix 652. Stardates 69000 to 70000. All adjuncts Unimatrix 652 redesignated into Trimatrices 1152 through 1274. Download data.
It looks like the main invasion of Romulan space occurred about 20 years ago. Something happened in the Delta Quadrant. The Borg assimilated something that greatly improved their technology. They adapted, evolved, and my people, they didn't have a chance. Maybe it's our fate to lose Romulus.
All we can do now is try to restore the previous timeline. Maybe this will help. The Borg are... there are Borg signatures on approach. You need to get out of there, sir. Beam us up.
Let's get out of here. There are more than 20 Borg ships on an intercept course.
Understood.
More Borg on the way.
Yes, I kind of got the memo already.
decloaking.
Okay, and those pros went down very fast, and I think Shirok just tried ramming speed. Nog?
We're losing power. Send the data now before we lose temporal shielding.
Yeah, okay, 1 second. Let me just pick up the random crappy item.
Transmit, we're losing power.
Sending the data now.
Focus on your repairs. We will make sure the data is preserved.
I don't have any repairs. Let's go and compress the data logs.
Data is compressed and ready.
Modulated subspace communication array.
Communications array is ready.
And open secure transfer.
Secure channel confirmed.
Send data to timeship.
I'm running the numbers now. The whole region appears to be reaching Rocky.
It's a great or a great deal. Time. There's no time to run the situation.
We haven't poised.
Right shield's failing.
Targeting the transwarp network.
Fire the weapon, now!
The Borg are gone. And so is Romulus.
Romulus isn't the only thing we lost. Temporal shielding is failing.
What happened?
The Borg did too much damage to the generators. If we lose the temporal shielding, we'll all reintegrate with the timeline.
Has anything else changed?
Checking. No. The Tutarians. They're gone.
What? How?
I see the problem. 20 years ago, your people tried to replicate the work of the Solanae to protect themselves from the Borg. In this timeline, they failed.
Temporal shield is at 8%.
No, I need to restabilize the shields.
I'm downloading my personal files into the shielded core. You'll have all my research notes and everything we've recorded from this mission.
You're giving up? When the shield fails, if the Tutarians were lost in the past, then you'll be lost too.
Temporal shield is losing integrity.
Is there anything we can do?
No, we all knew the risks. I love.
There has been a development, Captain. Captain Nog, Commander Jirok, and the Krenim researchers are waiting for you in the conference room to go over their findings. I'll meet them there.
We found a temporally shielded computer core, and it shows 2 uses of the Krenim weapon. But as far as I know, the Iconians are still out there. We changed the timeline, but we didn't fix our most important problem.
How different is the world now?
We won't be sure until we finish analyzing the data, but the Krenim weapon was used twice. I remember being on the bridge of the Krenim ship and seeing a readout with a far lower power reserve than had just been there a moment before. I'm sure you had a similar situation.
I did.
As to the greater differences, we'll know more soon. I only hope the ripples from what we did today don't start a tsunami.
Agreed.
We found a temporally shielded
What was in the
computer
core?
We haven't dug that far into the data yet, and it will take some in-depth investigation to catalog all of the changes. Noi is going to lead the group taking care of that. I will say it is odd to find personal logs I don't remember making.
I imagine that would be strange.
Very. But from what we've already seen, it appears the reason the weapon was fired twice was because we had to try to correct a change we made. Technology like this seems so simple, but even the smallest change can make more trouble than it solves. We have to be more cautious. Far more cautious than we've already been, I suppose. The next mistake might not be fixable. Time alteration might not be the answer. There are some problems that can't be solved with a weapon. But time travel... Look, whatever happens, it was good working with you. I hope we have the chance to do so in the future.
Good working with you too, Captain.
I was conducting another simulation, and all of a sudden I got an emergency call telling me to stop everything. I will be looking at whatever data we managed to save to try and determine what went wrong. Maybe we can try again after we know more.
I hope you find something. We can't afford another incident like that.
It has been good to have you here, but we will have to consider if time alteration is really the best course of action. Of all the records we have of time travel, few have as drastic a result as this. Perhaps removing elements from the time stream isn't the solution we need.
Goodbye.
We put so much hope into using the Krenim technology to solve our problems. Perhaps I was caught up in the possibilities and blind to the potential for disaster. We tried and we failed. But this isn't the end. We'll keep looking at the simulations as well as any other option open to us. I have to have faith that we will find a way to defeat the Iconians.
We'll discover what happened and move on from there. That's all we can do.
I have a lot of information to analyze. The shielded core appears to have made it through the process intact, and will give us a wealth of data on the timeline and how the changes have affected it. Clearly, you made a mistake somewhere. I still feel this is the best technology available to us, but we will need minds sufficient to the task to operate it.
Goodbye. Sir, I'm concerned about using time travel to solve the Iconian situation, but it is one of the only options we have that they don't. I hope whatever the Alliance decides to do, we don't end up in a worse situation than we're already in. Are you ready to transport back to the Odin now? Yes. Beam me up.
Captain Norm tells me that the initial test of the Iconian weapon was less than promising. He says that he and his team have a great deal of data still to analyze. But I do not believe they will find much that will assist us. Removing elements from the time stream is reckless, and while our options are limited, we should not destroy ourselves in a fruitless effort to destroy the Iconians. It is time to consider all of our alternatives.
And I don't think any of these really matter. Well, that one's actually probably pretty decent. It's an increased critical chance based on auxiliary power. Admittedly, unless you slap your thing to full power to auxiliary power, you're not going to get anywhere near the full 2.5%. But hey, it's probably better than the rest of these, if I'm being honest. At least in my opinion. Well, that is going to be it for this part. I will see you all next time where we will be doing Midnight, which is the final mission in the Iconian War arc. That's also a fairly long mission if I recall correctly. After that we do have a little bit of stuff to do in yesterday's war, and then we're getting into very new content. Future Proof is actually very new. So we're fairly rapidly catching up. Now I do want to know, once we reach the last, or the most recent content, once we finish the most recent content for Star Trek Online, the series will basically be going on hold until there's new content, and I'll probably just post a new episode every single time they release a new mission. So yes, that's going to be it for this part. Like I said, I will see you all next time. Quick reminder, if you enjoyed the content of the channel, the easiest and best way to help support it is to go and become a patron, which you can find a link to down in the description, as well as in the pinned comment. But until next time, goodbye and farewell.